Hello, mystery guest number 2 here on this busy Thursday on the Rich Eisen Show. Hello.
Now, Rich, you know I ain't never been no mystery. How could I be a mystery? Goats are not mysteries.
This Mr. October on the phone line right now?
Thank you. I'm surprised it took you that long.
Come on, Reg. You're the reason why I love baseball, Reggie Jackson. That's a fact. That's a fact.
And you're the reason why I watch your football show, NFL. I don't know what it's called, but
Game Day Morning.
Rich Eisen Show.
Yes. I will call that. That's, by the way, you have no idea. By the way, Reggie Jackson is here on the Rich Eisen Show. You have no idea, Reggie, when I get a text from you during NFL Game Day Morning and I tell the guys what you are saying, what a tremendous boost it gives everybody on the set. That's a fact.
Oh, yeah, you have such a great crew there with Kurt being the straight man, and then the other guys in between, the coach.
Yes. And I know. Well, I'll tell Mariucci, and invariably your text is like, "Tell Irv to pipe down and get off of Kurt's back." That's usually what your texts are like.
It's like Michael, Dallas stinks. Can't you realize that? Haven't you woken up to that yet? Wake up, brother. You're still sleeping.
Now,
he must live near Disneyland because he dreams that they're good.
Well, he just came on last hour, Reg, and for my birthday, I asked him to give me the gift of him predicting the Cowboys record game by game, and he said they're going to go 13-4 this year.
Yeah, tell him if he keeps doing that, we're going to have him tested.
Now, for full disclosure, you're a Steelers fan, right, Reggie? Correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, I am.
Now, what's the genesis of that again? Pittsburgh Steelers fan?
Franco Harris and I became friends probably 50. I'm 75. I think I was probably 22, 24. And Hank, I'm 3 or 4 years older than Franco, but we've been friends for over 50 years. And so, when he came and played against the Raiders, I don't even know how we became friends. I think it was because of this thing called super teams in 1972 when we played against each other, the tug of war and all that kind of stuff. It was the Steelers and the A's, and the two Steelers and the A's were always in the super teams because we won 3 years in a row, and they won like 4 out of 6 or something.
Because again, that's amazing, Reggie, too, and I something to bring up here. That you were, part of the great A's teams before you were part of the great Yankees teams. Can you walk me through? I've never asked you this. What was it like hitting that light tower in Tiger Stadium, Reggie, in the All-Star game? What was that like?
I was named as an alternate. I had 17 home runs. Was hitting 280-something at the time, maybe 45 or 650 RBIs. And Tony Oliva got hurt in Oakland. He was hitting 400. And so he got hurt. I took his place. And I was dressing, Sal Bando and I dressed next to each other. Catfish was on the other side. It was Sal, empty locker, Reggie, empty locker, Catfish. And so I'm getting ready for the All-Star game, packing my bag, and Sal says, Reggie, he says, they called me Buck when I was playing. Buck, whatever you do, don't embarrass us and strike out. So he said, because you'll probably be a pinch hitter. So I get to the All-Star game, and Vida Blue was pitching, and he got hit hard in the first inning. And I pinch hit for Vida in like the second inning. And I was saying, God almighty, Earl Weaver, to myself, why don't you save me for a big moment? You're going to get rid of me so early. I don't even count. And so I obviously I didn't say that, but my ego was working on my brain. Right? I get to home plate, and within 3 pitches, it's a ball and 2 strikes. And I stepped out of the batter's box, and I just had some brand new bats made, by Adirondack. But Joe Torre's brother, Joe Torre was a third baseman for the National League.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe Torre's brother, Frank Torre, was a senior executive at Rawlings, and he took care of some special bats. He made me some special bats that day, 35.5 inches long, and the handle was certain XYZ, but it was 37.5 ounces. And so I stepped out of the batter's box, and I said, damn, Sal says not to strike out. That's what was on my mind. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And so I choked up a half an inch, and I didn't choke up before that, even in Little League, and I never choked up after that. I choked up 1 inch or half an inch at that at-bat, and bingo, I hit the ball up over the stadium, over the roof, but it hit the light stanchion, and I kind of surprised myself because the ball just jumped off the bat. The wind was blowing out, and I rounded the bases like I was King Kong. I felt so good. Willie McCovey was on first base, and Ernie Banks was at shortstop, and Torrey was at third. Johnny Bench was catching, and I just really felt so good because all those guys were my idols, and I'd done something pretty good. I didn't really know how far the ball went. I kind of watched it, but I lost sight of it.
But you did, rounding the bases, you were aware it hit the lights, right, at Tiger Stadium?
No, I wasn't. I thought the ball went over the roof. Because the light tower sat on top of the roof, and I hit the ball halfway up into the light tower around the generators, and there was a fence there, and so I thought for sure that the ball went over the roof because I'd hit a ball over the roof there before, down the line.
Right. So what did you say, Reg? What did you say to Sal Bando when you saw him again? What did you say to him?
Oh, I didn't say anything. It was just, everybody had congratulated me. It's such a great job. And I would say that home run since 1971 gets mentioned 50 times a year to me. And that's 1971. So you got 29 and 20.
Yep.
You got almost 60 years when I've heard about it.
Damn, Reg. I mean,
I never get tired of it, bro.
Reggie Jackson here on the Rich Eisen Show. And out of that story, Reggie, that I take away from that is that once upon a time, it was an embarrassment to strike out. That actually, nowadays, man, right? I mean, it is just a totally different ball of wax.
Well, I struck out 2,597 times. And if you take that by 2021, it's about 130 strikeouts a year. And I had years with 140, 150, 135, 160. Most I ever struck out was 170 my first year. But from there, I probably, in full seasons, was good for 137 to 140. And now you have leadoff hitters that strike out that much, and you have a promotion in the game. They promote because the analytics decipher that you should swing up. And that's crazy. You need to learn to find the baseball first with the barrel before you start trying to swing up. That's what people don't understand. You have guys with natural swings that wind up with that barrel up over their shoulder. And then there are some guys like Winfield, George Brett, guys that's finished with the barrel under their shoulder. But if you see Mantle or Mays or Aaron or the great fly ball hitters, guys that hit home runs, Rodriguez and McCovey, they all finished with the barrel above the shoulder. And then the guys that hit the ball and put it in place so much, like Tony Gwynn and Carew, they finished it with the barrel below the shoulder. It's not an upswing. You got to learn to find the ball first with the barrel before you start swinging up. It's crazy that they teach that.
What do you make, Reg, of the checking of the pitchers these days? Hat, glove.
I think it's crazy. I don't like it. And I'm not an against the commissioner guy.
Right.
I think they're trying to do the best they can. But what bothers me is when they went back a few years ago, the analytics talked about spin rate. We got the spin rate. The same way, you know, when you take a look at some of the other things that they talk about in the game that they feel they have figured out. Well, if you put a little pine tar on the ball, your spin rate's going to get better. I mean, and that's old news, because in my era, guys would use a little pine tar, put it in the stripe on their pants, or put it inside their belt, you know, where you put your pants together and your belt goes under, you stick your thumb inside and you got it, and you can take your fingers and get a little bit. And it's almost like was acknowledged that, okay, it's a cold day here in the spring. Guys probably using a little pine tar, okay. But as far as what they're doing now, is it cheating? Yes. But, you know, during a time, the pine tar that was an additive for sticking, for a better grip, it was used. But, you know, what they're doing now is somewhat of an embarrassment. And the problem I have with it is the analytics talk about how they have increased the spin rate. That's my disappointment with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate just seeing pitch. And I was somebody to say that let's get the spider tack, that sort of industrial strength material that building contractors use. Like, let's get that out of the game. And now that's leading to, you know, pitchers taking their pants off. You know, like it's just.
Well, they brought it on themselves, though. They brought it on themselves, but I believe it's what the analytics have done, trying to promote spin rates. I don't need to tell people about spin rates. Go ask Nolan Ryan and Burt Blyleven and Steve Carlton and Bobby Gibson about spin rates. They'll tell you about spin rates. But it's so sad for me to see see the analytical people take credit for it. I went to see some of our hitters once in the minor leagues with the Yankees, and I got back and the general manager said, how'd it go? I said, great. He said, well, people were concerned about what you were going to tell the hitters. I said, really? He said, yes. I said, that makes me sick to my stomach. Embarrassing. I need to define what I'm going to tell a hitter. Really. And the guy that asked it and said it ran the hitting for the Yankees and never played it down, never touched the ball, never took a snap, couldn't tie a pair of spikes. Never played.
What were they afraid of what you'd say to the hitters, Reg?
I have no idea. So I said to someone at a high level, I said, for someone to question me about hitting, when I was in the top 5 all time of postseason pressure performers. And I said, you want to know what else? Not only was I in the top 5, I was at number 3, 4, or 5. And somebody asked me a question about hitting. I just kind of laughed and chuckled when I got done saying it.
The great Reggie Jackson, Baseball Hall of Famer, here on the Rich Eisen Show. Reg, last one, if you'll indulge me here. This is when I said at the top that you're the reason why I started loving baseball. You know, the year before you came in '76, the Yankees got swept by the Big Red Machine, and you know, Chambliss going yard and making the World Series definitely got my attention. But you had me at hello, and the reason why I fell in love with the sport. Can you tell me about the night of October 18th, 1977, the game in which you wrapped up the World Series essentially yourself with 3 swings and 3 home runs? What your mindset was arriving in the old Yankee Stadium that night? You
know, when I went to the ballpark that day, I knew it was Game 6, and I never really liked to play. I was in couple Game 5s with Oakland, Game 7s with Oakland. I never liked the game to go to the 7th game or the 5th game or the finals, because then you'd leave the chance of an umpire missing a call, a bad bounce, somebody having a fluke good day. So I always worked hardest in the 6th game of something when you had a 7. I didn't want to lose control. And so when I went to the ballpark, I had this unbelievable batting practice. I always hit last. You know, when the 2 field teams came on the field, the stadium was full in the World Series, and I hit the last 5 minutes. And I probably took 50 swings and hit 40 balls in the seats within a 50 feet radius in right center. When I walked out of the batting cage, and it was 3-4 deep with crowd around the media around the cage, I got a standing ovation from the crowd. And I said to Dave Anderson, the great sports writer with the Times, and Dick Young, the great writer, and
Post.
Jim Murray from the Los Angeles Times. I said to both three of them, they were watching, they said, "Boy, Reggie, what an exhibition." I said, "Yeah, I hope I didn't leave it here."
You did not.
I hope it's there later. And sure enough, it was there. And I tell you, on the last home run, I was sitting in the on-deck circle, and I saw them go to the mound and bring in Charlie Huff.
Right, knuckleballer.
And I looked around the stadium, and in my career, I probably already had 15 homers off knuckleballers. Wilbur Wood, Negro, Hoyt Wilhelm, Eddie Fisher, Steve Hargan. I had a lot of homers. And I looked around and said, they must not know. They must not know I hit knuckleball. And the first pitch he threw, man, I hit that ball 500 feet. I wanted to swing and get out of there before they found out.
Reggie Jackson, I was 8 years old that night, and if you had told that 8-year-old that a day I would turn 52, I'd have a TV radio show with my name on it, and Reggie Jackson would call in to wish me happy birthday, I would have cried. I'm not lying, man. So this is, as always, the greatest. You, sir, are...
I consider you my friend.
And right back at you. And so does my wife, Susie, adores you, Reg, and this means the world. It really does. Thank you so much.
Yes, Susie Slusher?
Susie Schuster.
Schuster, yeah. You married her. I knew her before you married her.
I know that, Reg. And she knew, and she lorded that over my head. Yeah, your childhood idol and I are tight. I'm like, okay, good to know. And now the fact that I get to call you friend as well. Happy 75th to you, belatedly, Reg.
Thank you so much. Happy 52nd to you.
Thank you.
We'll talk again soon. Let's say hello to your wife, Susie.
I will do that. Thanks again, Reg. You're the best.
Okay, my friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, Reginald Martinez Jackson.
Oof. Greatest nickname in sports?
Mr. October. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.